Welcome to Hot Mics, live on YouTube and TuneIn. So we're going to have a conversation today that's maybe uncomfortable for a lot of people. I don't know. It's something that's been bandying about for me, and it's got to do with the booze, alcohol. I live in California. A lot of people are going Cali sober. A lot of people are giving up the booze. There's a lot of really good non-alcoholic beers on the market. I like some of them. But I love booze, and I'm a martini guy. I love wine. I love it all. I bring in my guest right now because I want to tell him how I found him. James Swanwick is right here. He's got a new book called Clear. Alcohol-Free Life is what we're talking about. James, welcome.
Thank you, Billy. Great to be here.
My good man. James, this is how I came to know you. The craziest thing happened. Let's go to the fact that we have a mutual friend, but we didn't know we had this friend.
Yes.
I get a text from our mutual friend, Brad Blanks. And Brad sends me, he says, Bushy, you really need to talk to this guy. And I look down, I go, James Swanwick. Holy shit, there he is again, the alcohol-free life guy. Why? Because on a hungover day, morning, or evening where I've had too much and I'm getting into bed and I'm like, damn it, why did I do this? I feel terrible. I'm going to feel terrible tomorrow. I'm scrolling through, giving up the booze, and your Instagram and your profile keeps coming up thanks to the algorithm. And I say, how does Brad Blanks know that I need to talk to this guy? He thinks I drink too much. Blanksy, you drink too much, you Foster's Lager drinking Aussie, and that's how you know him, from Aussie.
Yes.
And I say, what do you mean? Really? What makes you say that? He goes, no, he's just a great mate of mine. He's got a new book out. He's just a great guy, and he's, would like to do your podcast. I said, oh my God, how serendipitous this is.
Wow.
You're the guy that pops up in my algorithm. And I've done the test before, and I've gotten to the test and all the things, and I'm like, and then I close it, and I don't finish it. Because I don't want to give up my old friend.
Got it.
The booze.
This is your wake-up call. It's time, Billy. It's time.
Is it? But listen, I love a martini.
Listen, your friend, which is alcohol, is a toxic friend.
Of course.
Who's talking about you behind your back, who's robbing you of your sleep. You're prone to being irritable, stressed, all of those kind of things. I mean, you would probably get out of a toxic relationship of 20, 30 years if you realized it wasn't serving you. And most people, I would submit, are in that toxic relationship with alcohol. It's not bad enough that they've got to go to rehab or maybe even an AA meeting, but it's bad enough that it's compromising their health, clarity, and their experience of life.
All right, I got upended in my career in 2016, and I spent years just on the sidelines in what we call TV jail. I was in TV jail. I couldn't work. I was canceled. You can Google it on your own time. But booze during that time, for a period there, was actually my friend. I felt like, okay, it served its purpose. It might have stayed around a little while. I'm always very social, fun drinker. I never get, angry. I never get feisty. Any of that. I'm always social and fun. But the brain fog definitely, kicks in. And I'm wondering if my relationship now with the kill switch is, you know what I mean? But the kill switch.
Yeah, you're ready to end the relationship.
I had one. No, but on a night, I had one. That's enough.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? Give me another. And we got another hour left to be here. Just instead of a martini, give me a vodka soda. Just keep it light on the vodka a little bit, and then you have another one, and then you're like, a glass of wine with the next thing you know, you got the brain fog, and you just feel like shit.
It's a very slippery slope. I would submit that alcohol has never been your friend. It's just been familiar, and it's occupied that space in your life. And of course, there are smiling assassins everywhere. And a smiling assassin is someone who's smiling as they offer you a drink. Hey, can I get you a wine? Can I get you a beer? If you're hosting people over, you want to be hospitable. So you say, can I get you a wine? Can I get you a drink?
Yeah.
And so we're all smiling as we're consuming this attractively packaged poison. And so the cultural conditioning is set that we equate alcohol consumption with good times, with joy, with pleasure, with celebration, with commiseration. It's familiar. But it's not a great friend because it is compromising our life. It causes irritability, compromises our sleep, the brain fog, the envy of other people's, just this mediocrity that we experience in our life because of that attractively packaged poison.
Now, were you a big drinker at
I
one
was
point?
a socially acceptable drinker growing up in Australia, in that
I mean,
had...
Aussie, oi, oi, oi. I mean, you guys, it's a big drinking culture, isn't it?
We did. It's a huge drinking culture. And I was a socially acceptable drinker. I had 2 or 3 drinks most nights of the week, and then I would drink heavily on the weekends. Now, I never woke up in a ditch. I didn't get a DUI. I didn't get arrested. I didn't hit that rock bottom. But after 2 decades of drinking this way, I'd realized that I'd put on 35 pounds. I was irritable. I was stressed. I wasn't sleeping great. I was just blah. And blah is feeling like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Low energy, irritable. And I realized that those drinking habits had caught up to me. And by the time I stopped when I was 35 years old, I just said, alcohol has been the reason why I feel this mediocrity in my life. And then since I've stopped, which has been since 2010, wow, my life has just transformed in so many positive ways. And the thing is, I have more fun, more joy, more pleasure being alcohol-free than I ever did with those short-term pleasures from big nights out or drinking with friends.
So I have Jason Baitman, playing golf with him, and he has been sober for, I don't know, many, many years now. But he told me, you know, his career was just not happening, and he was drinking too much and doing this and a little of that. And he said he got to a career bottom where he was like in the running to be the Verizon spokesperson. You know, the guy, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? That guy. And it came down to him and the can you hear me now guy. They're like, we're going to go quasi like small celebrity, or we're going to go with this dude. And he ultimately lost that gig to the can you hear me now guy. Said, this is it. This is terrible. I just lost to this guy. Nobody even knows who this guy is. My career is that. He quit the booze, and a very short while later nailed the audition for Arrested Development. Well, the rest is history. He flies on the Netflix jet. He directs and stars in Ozark and every movie, and his career has just been phenomenal. He credits this change in his life. Will Arnett, one of his great friends, the same thing. Then you look at like Brad Pitt, you know, who helped, Bradley Cooper helped Brad Pitt. Bradley Cooper was helped by Robert Downey Jr., who was helped by Mel Gibson. There's a whole, you look at a lot of these big stars who are hitting it here in Hollywood, and a lot of them gave that up.
Yes.
It is your old friend.
Toxic friend.
Toxic friend. But, you know, when you're out rolling and you're having fun and it's just, it's so easy. And how do you do it?
Well, I go into every social situation now, alcohol-free, committing to have the most fun, be the most engaged, and do so while drinking soda water ice and a piece of lime, or a great mocktail, or a great alcohol-free beer.
See, I'm not a mocktail guy. I'm not going to go like, can I have a beautiful, buy the mocktail thing? I happen to love Athletic IPAs, the Athletic Brewing Company.
You like beer, Billy, yes?
I like everything.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not going to have a non-alcoholic wine. I'm not going to have a non-alcoholic martini, but a non-alcoholic beer. The Athletic Brewing Company changed the game, in my opinion.
There's another great company called Groovy, Gruvi, and they're based out of Colorado. They're also a great alcohol-free beer. Interestingly, 11% of all Heineken sales 2 years ago were from Heineken Zeros. 11% of all Heineken sales were their 0% beer. That is incredible. There is a cultural shift going on now where people are increasingly turning their back on alcohol and choosing alcohol-free alternatives. And if you are a beer drinker and you genuinely like the taste, there are plenty of alcohol-free beers out there, and you don't have to experience the hangover. You don't have to consume the toxins. You can just relax, have fun, being alcohol-free. The other thing is there seems to be a negative connotation with the term sobriety or being sober. And there's a lot of gray area drinkers out there, millions of them, who probably would think that they're not so bad that they need to go to AA or rehab, but they know that their drinking is compromising their quality of life. So I would
That's
submit,
me.
Yeah,
I
got
think.
it. So instead of calling yourself sober, or you're a year sober, or you're practicing sobriety, which has a negative connotation, I would suggest, just say, I'm alcohol-free. I'm choosing alcohol-free. I'm loving the energy I'm getting, the clarity, the focus, and own it. It doesn't matter what you say to people. It more matters how you say it. And if you're confident and you're lighthearted and you're having fun while choosing to drink alcohol-free beers, then everyone can relax and have a good time, especially you.
I think saying alcohol-free for me is almost too technical. Like for me, it's just like I am 50 and I can't handle feeling like shit anymore. The brain fog and the pulling yourself up, like when it's not cute, right? Like what's next? 60, then 70, then you look like an old wrinkled ashtray and you look terrible, and then you make bad food decisions and all that. But how bad is alcohol for you?
There was a study out of the UK in 2022 of 35,000 middle-aged adults, and it showed that even one seemingly innocent drink per day, which is just 7 standard drinks a week, was enough to cause some level of grey and white matter degeneration in the brain. Now that should be a wake-up call for everyone. The other thing is
it's amazing I have any left. Just from years from college, and I took 2 months off this summer.
How did you feel?
June and July. Felt great, but I have to be honest with you. At the end of it, I was going out to dinner with my college buddies, and it was like literally 2 months to the day, and I was like, yeah, I'm tired of this. I'm having a cocktail. And then I had 2.
Well, you're associating drinking a cocktail with pleasure and fun and enjoyment, and you're also associating not drinking with possibly pain or not having as good a time. But what I'm suggesting is, why don't you go out and spend time with your old college buddies and not drink alcohol, choose alcohol-free alternatives, and have an equally good time, or if not better. It's just an energy that you bring to it. And if you confidently share with your buddies, hey, I'm alcohol-free, I'm not drinking, I'm just health conscious at the moment, I've been doing this 6 months. Even if they're drinking, you guys can still have a wonderful, amazing time. But most people associate not drinking with being dull or boring or somehow being a killjoy, but that's not the case. It's just if you own your choice to be alcohol-free and you have an amazing time, then everyone has an amazing time.
Okay, your new book, Clear, you've got a method. What would you do from what I've told you? And I think I've just been totally honest. You know, I don't think I'm an alcoholic. I do think it's just become kind of a crutch and kind of a thing I just do. But I can definitely like not have a drink, you know, on a Monday, Tuesday night at my house, you know. I don't really drink much at home, but I'm single, so I'm out at the golf club or whatever. And when I'm there, oh my God, they flow like you wouldn't believe. So, you know, what's your diagnosis and what is the method to like doing it?
Yeah, so we help mostly high achievers, executives, CEOs,
That's
physicians.
me, baby. I am a big time guy.
We help those folks to stop drinking alcohol for at least 90 days. And in that process, we help you to rewire your mindset around alcohol. So we show you how to stop worshiping at the altar of alcohol and instead worship at the altar of a great night's sleep, conscious communication, sunlight in the morning, exercise, good nutrition, and enjoying being alcohol-free, as opposed to thinking that you are in a prison from not drinking. And most people think that when they are not drinking, they're in a prison and therefore they're stuck. But if you switch it to the prison is actually consuming the attractively packaged poison and the joy and the fun is choosing to be alcohol-free, then it becomes very simple to stay quit from alcohol.
I know my producers in here. We got Rob, we got Steve. Rob is a guy that has, he thinks, well, you know, I don't drink during the week much, but you know, on Friday I'm gonna have, when I go to sushi, I have to have sake with the beer, and then of course Saturday I'm going out. But if I just drink tequila with ice, it's much better because the ice, you know, hydrates, and I drink water in between. Everybody's got a method, you know. Everybody's got a way of rationalizing, like, oh no, this is how it works, and he does it. You know, this 2 days on, 5 days off is better than, you know, a drink every night and then a lot of drinks on the weekend like you were doing back in the day.
Yeah. The
right?
Tequila is actually the least bad alcohol for you.
Oh, you're giving me an out. I love that. You're giving me an off-ramp. I like this.
But would you like to guess what are the 2 worst different drinks that you can have that have the most toxins and therefore do the most damage?
Vodka.
No.
No, vodka's not the worst?
No.
Rum.
No.
So much sugar.
This is going to be heartbreaking for millions of people all around
Beer?
the world. Beer and red wine are equally bad and the worst.
Beer and red wine are the worst of all the alcohols?
Beer and red wine are the worst of all the alcohols based on the amount of toxins that are in them. So, of course, you need to drink a much greater quantity of beer to get drunk and to cause all of these problems. But in terms of...
And then there's a greater quantity of you.
Yeah, that's right.
It's very fattening.
That's right. In terms of toxins, red wine and beer are equally bad and the worst, whereas tequila is actually the least bad for you. Now, if you drink a lot of tequila, obviously now that's going to be the worst thing for you. But if you're drinking it modestly, then that is certainly the cleanest alcohol you can have from a toxins point of view. But this is not an invitation to go out there and go, great, now I'm going to switch to tequila, because any amount of alcohol still has been shown to cause some level of brain degeneration.
All right, if you're just joining us, this is James Swanwick, and he is... we were put together by the cosmos. Folks, do you believe in the universe? Do you believe in the Lord and God and whatever your belief is? I found him, or he found me, just from stuff I was searching. The algorithm, had us collide. And then I put it aside and I kept living my life. And I would say like every morning I didn't, when I didn't have a cocktail, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I go 3 days in a row. I am literally feeling so great on a Thursday. And I'm like, this feels great. Why I can't bottle that up? There is a switch, James, after I have like 3 days of not a drop, that it's like almost like go. Get a cocktail immediately. It's a reward and undo everything you've done.
You're associating alcohol as the reward, as opposed to alcohol-free living as the reward. The reward is waking up feeling energized, feeling a life of appreciation instead of expectation. It's having the energy to come to work each day and just crush it creatively.
Stop procrastinating. The big thing that when you have a hangover or you're like not feeling so good, brain fog, you put things off that are like, that thing on your list you don't want to do. Yeah,
drinking causes you to procrastinate and kick the can down the road. And years can go by. It's death like 1,000 cuts. It's not necessarily like a rock bottom moment that you have, but cumulatively over years and decades, suddenly you find yourself in your 50s and 60s and you're carrying 30 extra pounds, you're irritable, maybe you've got marital strain, you might not be as present with your children, you start lamenting the choices that you've made. Whereas when you're consistently alcohol-free, you make good choices. You've got clarity, you've got focus, you've got energy. You can surge creatively in your business or in your career.
Rob, what do you think? You said to me, literally, you have a plan. You're going out Friday night. You're having sake, but you're already planning your drinks for Friday and Saturday. You have a drinking problem, Rob. I'm going to say it.
I have a question. So let's say I have a light beer at the sushi restaurant, some sake, and I eat some sushi. Now, in the next morning, I get up and I work out like crazy. How much does the workout help you after you've had a night of drinking? And that's not a huge night of drinking. I don't do huge nights of drinking. But I'm just saying, you have 2 drinks a night, 4 drinks for the whole week, and you work out 4 or 5 days a week. Does it equal out?
He wants a pass. He wants you to say, you're okay, keep going the way you're going.
It's fantastic that you're working out consistently. That is amazing. However, the 2 or 3 drinks you're having the night before are definitely compromising whatever your goals are with your health. If you're looking for muscle gain, 1 drink can probably eat into 20% of that workout. So you're there busting your gut trying to lift heavy, and because you had a drink or 2 the night before, your muscles aren't going to repair as well. It's going to take you more time, more effort to get the same results than if you were alcohol-free. So it's wonderful that you're exercising regularly. But even if you just reduce it to 1 drink, even though that's still not great, that I would submit, to me, it's going to be so much better than 2 or 3.
1 doesn't do it. I want the buzz. 1 cocktail, I mean, that's not a big, to me, it's, I think all or nothing.
You can get a buzz from being consistently alcohol-free. You said it yourself, Billy. Right. When you were 2 months alcohol-free, how did you feel until you met up with your college buddies? And then you kind of broke it.
I slept beautifully. I felt great. I was connected to my mother, who I was visiting in Maine, and my children. And yes, all good things. Your relationships improve. Everything.
Would you do anything for your children?
Anything.
Would you quit drinking for them?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
But I'm not like I'm not, none of them would say, Dad, you need to quit drinking.
Is it compromising your experience with them during those times when you are drinking? For example, if you're tired, if you're irritable, if you are foggy and you're spending time with your children, are you as present as you could be if you weren't feeling those things?
Absolutely not. And when I think about them when they were young, I can definitely like just pick out moments where, you know, I didn't want to, just close the door, like put them in the bed and, you know, ignore them and not engage. Be with them, like present in the same physical space, but not really engaged.
When the joy of your presence with your children is more important to you or more enjoyable for you than the short-term pleasures that you get from drinking, it will be very easy for you to live an alcohol-free lifestyle.
So what's the first step? I mean, the first step is the 90 days, but...
Yeah, we have a 90-day stop drinking process. And the first thing is we try to rewire people's mindset around alcohol. A lot of people start by thinking stopping drinking is going to be hard, it's going to be dull, I'm going to be boring, my whole identity will change. We invite them to step into being alcohol-free is actually going to be more fun, more enjoyable, you're going to be more interesting, and it's going to be preferable. Then, of course, we help people to get rid of alcohol from their homes, replace it with alcohol-free alternatives. Could be soda water, sparkling waters, some of the alcohol-free beers that you suggested that you've tried and liked.
Yeah, I do love those.
And then also feeling confident around sharing with others that you are alcohol-free. There's this stigma that, oh, if I say that I'm not drinking, people will think that I'm an alcoholic. You're not an alcoholic, Billy. You're just someone who sometimes knows that they drink too much and that there are negative consequences to that. And so when you stock your fridge with alcohol-free alternatives, when you start sharing confidently, hey, I'm alcohol-free and I'm loving it, then that becomes so much more powerful for you than any pleasure you're going to get from drinking alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious. There's no way, you know what I mean? It's like, it's if you're at 53 years old and you're just kind of, you know, having cocktails too liberally, of course you're going to drag. Physically, the body can't recover.
Yeah,
like it did when you were young. Steve, what do you got? You got a question for James?
Yeah, so Billy, I know when you're at the golf club, the power that you have when you come off that course and you're heading for that martini.
Yeah, my golf club. Okay, so the nickname is the Clutchman. You know, it's like I'm kind of like the guy. The fun guy.
Right.
You know.
So
hey,
knowing
Bushy,
that,
what's up, buddy? You know, and it's like, hey, let's have a cocktail.
Knowing that power, like, what do you suggest to do in that moment? Should he not go there at first, or should he embrace it? And
no,
right
I'm not going to avoid it. I'm not.
Do exactly the same thing. Be that larrikin where people go, Bushy, and you're like, hey, how you doing? While drinking soda water, ice, and a piece of lime. It's so simple. It's like, I remember when I first moved to Los Angeles years ago, I joined the Los Angeles Rugby Club. And if I was lucky enough to win the MVP, the prize was I had to chug beer out of a rugby boot at the end of the match in a bar. And I played up to this identity as an Australian larrikin, and my American teammates loved it. They're like, oh, Aussie, the Crocodile Dundee, big drinker. And that was my identity. And I enjoyed that. Like, I enjoyed the feedback that I got from people laughing and joking and speaking of me positively. But I came to realize years later that I was holding on to that identity and that I could still have a similar identity while being alcohol-free and get all the benefits of that. So I would submit, when you go to the golf course, when you're at the 19th hole and everyone's drinking afterwards, still be the larrikin, still be open, still be fun, still connect people, and make fun of yourself for not drinking. Just be lighthearted about it. It doesn't matter what you say. It more matters how you say it, how you share that you're alcohol-free, and then everyone can have a great time. They can drink, you can not drink.
It's amazing how grown men, like of my own age, would be like, dude, you're not drinking? What's going on? You got to be drinking. Grow up. You're 50 years old. Who gives a crap if someone's drinking and someone else isn't drinking? I'm never that guy. But because it might come at me, I would never put that out on someone else. In fact, I'd be like, hey, so you must feel pretty good tomorrow morning, right? It's like, I'm almost looking at that. I like that guy. Rob, go ahead.
Yeah, Bill, one of the things I like about you when you're drinking is how jolly you are.
I told him I'm a jolly drinker. Yeah, I'm fun.
And then the dance moves.
I got great dance moves.
Will this impede the dance moves?
No.
That's the question.
No.
You can be jolly and you can show off your great dance moves, Billy, while being alcohol-free.
Yes, probably better moves.
Better moves.
Nah, I don't know about better moves.
Different moves.
There's a great photo of Rob and I have of the two of us sitting at a piano in at a hotel in Jamaica. It was a big, golf trip that we did, and I think it was one of those self-playing pianos, but we were pretending side by side. We were hammered, frankly, and then hit the dance floor and all that. But it's not cute. Like in your 50s, it's not that cute. It's like, okay, time to let it go. Now, this is a big important thing. Out here in LA, there's Cali Sober. You speak about alcohol-free. Do you speak THC-free, psilocybin-free, some of the other things that are floating around here? People love the chocolate mushrooms in LA, and they love the weed.
I don't have any thoughts on that. I don't have any meaningful...
We're making progress. Here we go. Okay. Back on the on-ramp.
But isn't it funny how we're trying to scramble for anything? Please give me permission to consume this poison.
I want to escape. It's about escaping, right? Escaping the pain of life. And I probably re-upped my booze intake during a particularly painful time of life. But life is good. And you got to let it be good.
Pretty soon we realize that we're drinking to relieve ourselves of the pain and symptoms that drinking is actually creating in the first place. So we're drinking alcohol to relieve ourselves of stress and anxiety, but it's a temporary, illusionary relief. And then what shows up is we sleep poorly, we wake up tired, irritable, and distracted, and then we're just waiting
and more anxiety.
We're waiting for 5 o'clock to roll around where we can drink another bottle of wine, have more beers, which then create more stress and anxiety, and then we're stuck on this vicious perpetual cycle. So I would just submit the joy, the escape, or create a life that you don't feel you need to escape from. And you can do that, I would submit, through great nutrition, morning sunlight, exercise, being around positive people, having a growth mindset, loving drinking alcohol-free alternatives, I could say, because there's so many on the market now. Generation Z has just turned its back on drinking altogether. You and I are both 50, but Generation Z, they have never drunk less. It is extraordinary. And the liquor companies are scrambling. They are terrified because there is a cultural trend happening now where people are increasingly either reducing their drinking or quitting entirely.
Yeah.
And that should be a wake-up call for all of us. And I think that in 20 to 30 years from now, as a society, we're going to look back on alcohol with the same level of disdain that we currently do cigarettes. It may take longer or it might be shorter, but it's happening.
I would think I'd rather be handsome, charming and handsome than the life of the party. You know what I mean? Like that guy in the center of the room who's ripping cocktails and all of that. But I see that, booze ravages your look. It really does. I mean, it just eats you alive. You see a guy drinks too much, you could see that turn, right? The bulging eyes, the red nose, and oof, do you want to be that guy? You don't want to look like Brian Dennehy at 55.
Well, drinking dehydrates the body's largest organ, which is our skin. And so just a warning, you do get better looking when you stop drinking alcohol.
You are very fresh looking. You're very angular, very handsome guy. I'm gonna say that.
Thank you. I always say to women especially, you can throw out all of these expensive moisturizers and facial treatments. If you just choose to go alcohol-free, your skin will return to the way that nature always intended it to look, which is glowing and fresh. But when we drink, we're literally consuming toxins, and those toxins show up as bags under the eyes, as the crow's feet. In fact, there was a study out of the UK about 5 or 6 years ago where they showed a whole group of photos to people, and they said, who do you find the most attractive of these photos? And almost all of them pointed out the people who were alcohol-free, who didn't drink, and rejected the people who were drinkers. So you can actually see it on an unconscious level that people who don't drink are perceived as more attractive looking, and people who do drink less so. So that should be a frightening wake up, especially in a town like Los Angeles where your appearance and your look is very important. If you give up alcohol, you will just naturally get better looking.
And what about performance in the bedroom? Is it connected to libido? I would think the libido is a lot more powerful with an alcohol-free lifestyle. And that's really what it's about, isn't it?
Yes, when you quit drinking alcohol, you definitely can improve in the bedroom. You've got more energy, more stamina. Candidly, you look better naked.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
There's an old expression, you trim the hedges and the house looks bigger, right? You know what I'm saying? The muffin top around is creating an illusion that God wasn't very nice to you.
Yes. And it's becoming so much more socially acceptable now to either drink very modestly or not drink at all. And so for single guys or single gals, I would say that a great mating strategy would be to go alcohol-free, because you look better, you feel better, you probably generate the body that nature intended you to have, as opposed to carrying an extra 10, 20 pounds, having some crow's feet and weathered skin. It just gives you this glow, and that's very attractive.
Do you ever eat a gummy? Do you eat a gummy, or you're not going to answer that?
I have done, but I don't with consistency. No. But I look at life pretty much 85-15, which is 85% of the time I'm eating great food and I'm doing all the right things. I haven't drunk alcohol since 2010, not one drink. 15% of the time, I allow myself to eat some crap and splurge and have a dessert and things like that. But I definitely have not returned to any amount of alcohol, and I won't.
Okay. The book, Clear, the author, James Swanwick, it's just a tremendously, if you're just joining us now, so funny. A mutual friend of ours we didn't know that we had literally sent me that you need to talk to this guy. And I'm like, who are you to judge me and my drinking? And he wasn't. He was just saying he's a friend with a book and you should talk to him. And he's great and you'll love him because you love me. And by the way, I do. What a wonderful guy you are. And but unbeknownst to him, I had been searching a little bit, asking questions of myself, of the internet, about alcohol. And James is the one who kept popping up. I'm sure there are other people that talk about this stuff, but he kept showing up on my algorithm, kept bringing me together with you. So when this happened, I said, okay, that's it. This is the universe. This is God is saying, have this conversation, have it in front of other people, because how many people do you think are walking around wondering, God, I just would rather not drink, but I did it again, or man, I feel like foggy today. And, you know, I think a lot of people are juggling this stuff.
I would submit 75% of all drinkers.
Yeah, I would say so. Certainly at an advanced age.
Yeah,
or mid-age.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 50 and I haven't drunk since age 35. I've had a life with alcohol and a life without, and without is so much better. More clarity, focus, energy, career success, gratitude. I've attracted an incredible wife and I've got a great family. Doesn't mean that I'm not sometimes irritable and stressed.
Does your
and
wife
anxious.
drink?
She doesn't drink, no. And she didn't stop because she met me. She just never drank. But it wasn't like she felt like she needed to quit either. She just was never interested in it. And increasingly, those people exist in the world. And I think if someone's listening or watching and they experiment with sharing with people that they're alcohol-free, if they experiment with cutting back at the least and possibly even quitting and then just owning it and sharing it with people, you'll find there are so many more people out there who really welcome that.
It's just the biggest confusion for me is the disconnect, because after 3 days of not drinking, I mean, or even one day, like every day you wake up having. My dad had a great expression. Dad had a great one. He said, "Bill, nobody ever's woken up in the morning and said, 'Man, I wish I had another drink last night.'" It's completely true.
Yes.
I know one guy who may have said that just because but no one's ever said, "I wish I drank last night. I went to this party, I didn't drink." You're like, "Yes, I feel great." But the disconnect is, we'll do it again and keep doing it. It feels, there's the response. There's the action, then there's the response. Why are you undoing that? Why are you not doing that again? That's the confusing part.
Yeah. It feels so much better to wake up in the morning and look back on the night before and say, I'm so glad I didn't drink last night.
Yes.
And more people are saying that now as they're experimenting with this. And again, the most important thing is that not drinking is not the prison. That's the reward. That's the pleasure. But we're all walking around thinking that drinking is the pleasure and drinking is the reward. Just flip it on its head and start looking at an alcohol-free lifestyle as the reward. And then you'll just find that you can have the most fun. You can still dance on tables. You can still be the larrikin at the golf course while everyone's drinking around you and you're drinking your soda water. You can still do all of that. It's just the energy that you put forward. But the benefits...
I'm not unfun when I don't drink. I'm not unfun. It's just, I definitely have had pain, trauma, like every other human in life. And it became the nursing, the nursing pathway for me. It just was my escape. It was to numb.
Yes.
To numb those feelings. You know what I mean?
It's been a familiarity in your life, Billy. Yeah. And I get that it's challenging to break up with that familiarity because it's been like a comfort
I feel like we
blanket.
are breaking up. I do feel like I wouldn't even be sitting here with you if I was in such a denial place of just because I definitely am not an alcoholic. I know that, but I definitely also I'm tired of it.
But Billy, but if you do want that drink, what about the water and the dehydration part? Like water in one hand, drink in the other. How much of this is about staying hydrated? Would that change anything at all? Help, maybe?
He's trying to keep me drinking. He says if I alternate drink for water, drink water.
That will water down the alcohol consumption, yes. But why are you still trying to hang on to the drink in the first place? Yeah. That's the whole point. Like, why are you still trying to clutch at this thing?
Yeah,
it's straight poison. It's all it is. It's attractively packaged poison. And there are smiling assassins everywhere who are smiling as we're holding this prop of the attractively packaged poison. But why are you trying to hang on to it? Just let it go. Surrender to it. And then drink your alcohol-free alternatives and have the most fun. But we're still clamoring for this, like, oh, is there any way I can just have one drink, or can I do moderation? How about I only drink on weekends? But why? Because you're associating good times with the alcohol and pain without the alcohol. But what I'm suggesting is start living life where the pain is drinking the alcohol and the pleasure and the joy and the larrikin behavior is from an alcohol-free lifestyle.
Nobody's life got worse. Nobody's career got worse when they gave up booze. It's the stats have got to be flawless on that. Okay, so we pick up your book, Clear. Someone's listening right now. They're definitely thinking, I'm going to get this book. What happens? What's the first step?
Yeah, so in the book, we talk about all of the proactive steps that you can take to get alcohol out of your home. But then most importantly, it's to get you embodying, loving an alcohol-free lifestyle. And we show you how to socialize without alcohol. So we'll walk you through what to say to your friends at the golf course, for example, how to say it. So when people are encouraging you to have a drink, you can then respond with such confidence and lightheartedness that everyone's like, oh, okay, great, we can just get on with it. And that will stop people trying to get you to drink. We also show you how you can reduce your stress and anxiety naturally, because most people are turning to alcohol to reduce their stress and anxiety. There's lots of holistic ways that you can do that. And then really it's getting you to really understand what are the profound benefits that you can create in your family's life by choosing to go alcohol-free. Being present with children, saving a marriage. Candidly, some people get so clear from not drinking that they decide to end a marriage. And maybe they've been procrastinating on that.
What am I doing with you? I was numbing myself from you. Yeah.
So yeah, there can be an uncomfortable reality of that new clarity, which is maybe I'm in the wrong marriage, or maybe I'm in the wrong profession, or I got to change my habits here. I got to change my way. And I get that. But as soon as you take that first step, it just opens up so many other healthy habits, which are profoundly better than if you stay drinking alcohol.
All right, I'm going to practice walking into the club, all right? The guys are drinking the whole thing. Now, without reading one page of Clear, here's what I would just go with, all right? I walk in. Hey, fellas, how'd you play today? Don't even answer that. Nobody cares. Look, hey, Larry, what are you doing? What number is that for you? You've had like 3 drinks. I came out here before you were drinking. You know what? You really let yourself go. The body is not what it used to be. I'm going on the offense here, James. I'm just going on the offense. You know what? And you're not funny with the big thing. And that's why the Bushman does not drink. He doesn't drink at all because guess what? I'm going to sleep great tonight. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to kick your ass on the golf course again. Have a great night. maybe that's not so good.
I would suggest don't judge other people for their drinking habits. But everything you said towards the end there, which is, I'm so cool because I'm not drinking, that's great. Like, have fun with that. Be lighthearted about that and create the camaraderie.
Yeah, how about a little, like, it's funny. You could just be like, I was thinking about feeling terrible tomorrow morning. And then I thought, well, maybe not. Maybe I won't feel terrible.
Yeah. Do that and bring that lightheartedness and that
tempting.
Playful energy to it, and declare that you're alcohol free. Not in a you're judging them way. Do not do that under any circumstances, because nobody likes being preached to. No one likes someone who's smug. But if you just confidently and authentically share that you're alcohol free and laugh and joke and make fun of yourself, you'll find that your social circles will just like embrace that.
I am calling into question my ongoing negotiations with alcohol. I'm doing it in front of you. This is Hot Mics with James Swanwick. His book is Clear. Grab it. Let's all take a look at this together, maybe. I'm definitely going to do that. I really appreciate you coming in here. You popped up on my algorithm for a reason. I'm glad we acted on it. You got a great friend in Brad Blanks, my mutual friend. Whoever speaks to him first, tell him fuck off from the other. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Billy. Appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Hot Mics with Billy Bush. We will be back very soon. Monday, Wednesday, 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Pacific. It's live on YouTube. And tune in. And James, guess what I'm not going to have tonight?
You're not going to have attractively packaged poison.
Well said. Bye-bye.